0. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome in. It is my Bracketology mid-February update. It's currently, look at this, February, I think it's actually the 16th, but the bracket matrix is where we start. I don't know if you've been following, guys. Crazy stuff going on with college basketball. Right now, looking at the bracket matrix, we've got 3 consensus number 1 seeds. Gonzaga, clearly the number 1 team in the nation right now. Auburn, they dropped from the number 1 overall team, but they're still clearly a 1 seed. And then Arizona as well. And then we've kind of got a split between Kansas and Kentucky, 2 blue bloods here, as to who the 4th 1 seed is. I'm sure that will all get solved. Then we've got Baylor, Purdue, and Duke as the other 2 seeds. Villanova, those are kind of all set. Villanova right on the 3 line, front of the 3 line. Texas Tech, they've had a great year out of the Big 12. Wisconsin, they're frauds. Providence, they're frauds. Those are the 3 seeds. Illinois, love them. They're a good 4 seed. UCLA had a tough road loss to USC. That environment on Saturday night, that USC-UCLA game, was amazing. It's unfortunate the game was so late. Tennessee, solid team. They've got big opportunities, Tennessee does. And then Houston, they lost to Memphis at home. Memphis is charging up right now, guys. It is crazy. Michigan State, total frauds. They lost last night to Rutgers. Guys, Michigan State does not have a good player. They've just got a bunch of average guys. Trust me, look it up. They're just all average. Texas, solid team. Ohio State right now is on a warpath. E.J. Liddell, National Player of the Year. Wow. He's unbelievable. Big Ten Player of the Year, National Player of the Year. It's crazy. Alabama, they've had a very tough schedule. And then you've got LSU. They're so overrated. Marquette. These Big East teams, guys, when it comes to March Madness, when it comes to filling out your brackets, stay away. Except Villanova. These Big East teams are all average. Wyoming, they've gotten pretty lucky this year. I love St. Mary's. USC, kind of underrated at a 7 seed. Then you've got some teams down here. Iowa scores a ton on offense. Iowa's fun to watch. San Francisco, I love shouting them out. They're such a fun program. North Carolina, they have some potential. Notre Dame's had a nice year. Davidson, I'm not buying. Oklahoma, they've got a bad record, but it's because they play in a really good conference. There you guys can see teams that I love. Wagner. Oh, Wagner. Love Wagner. Longwood is another team I love. So there's some teams down there. Also, guys, how about the Horizon League this year? How about the MAC? The MAC, you've got Toledo. You've got Ohio University. Where's Ohio? There's Ohio. The MAC's a great league this year. Other teams, I think Rutgers at this point, due to all their big wins, should probably be in the tournament. Right now, it looks like they're a bubble team on the outside looking in. West Virginia's hit a tough spell. Florida's been on the bubble forever. Michigan is talented, but oh my goodness. Did you guys see what E.J. Liddell did to Michigan on Saturday? E.J. Liddell, best player in college basketball. It's crazy. But these are the other bids, as you can see. So, guys, overall, let's take a look at the T-Rank top rankings. This is my favorite site to look at. They've actually got Houston as the number 2 overall team. I think this is a flaw in the rankings personally. Houston has a very easy schedule, so they're going to blow out a lot of teams, and it's going to give them good overall game grades. That's why they're second. Arizona, Kentucky, Baylor, Auburn sitting at 6, Kansas at 7. You guys can just see the overall teams there. But one of the great things I love about this, if you can see like who the best home team is, who the best away team is, like who is the best away team in college basketball, you can filter that, and it'll load in the best away teams, and it's Gonzaga. Has Gonzaga only played 3 road games? I don't know if that's right. My goodness. But guys, another thing I love, Player of the Year standings with T-Rank. You go to this website, you can look. This is E.J. Liddell is actually first in this. E.J. Liddell, guys, you take a look at E.J. Liddell. What is his PRPG? Guys, it's important. Look at the PRPG. 6.2 for E.J. Liddell. I think that's number 2 right now, E.J. Liddell. E.J. Liddell said he's coming back next year. He's already announced he's coming back for his senior season. He wants the 4-peat. He wants the 4-peat. This Ohio State team. Let's just take a look at this Ohio State team really quick. This team is loaded. They just destroyed Minnesota. That's a solid, look, 97-97. Those are good game grades. They're going to annihilate Iowa. But this team, I mean, Kyle Young, Kyle Young gets offensive rebounds. He's a glue guy. Malachi Branham, the true freshman. This is Kevin Durant 2.0, folks. E.J. Liddell. Zed Key, kind of undersized. Jamari Wheeler, Defensive Player of the Year. Defensive Player of the Year, unbelievable. Cedric Russell. Guys, you're going to have to learn all these guys' names. This Ohio State team is going deep into the tournament. I'm not being a homer about it. I've just seen this team as a neutral fan, and I'm like, wow, this Ohio State team is crazy. But yeah, these Player of the Year rankings, I would put probably Liddell is probably going to win it. He's going to win Big Ten Player of the Year too. Keegan Murray, this is the guy that he pads his stats against bad teams. That's his problem. He pads his stats. Let's look at the bracketology. Well, let's look at Ken Palm. The one thing I love looking at Ken Palm, guys, is the luck factor. So which team has gotten the luckiest this year? Yes, it's Providence. God, I love this ranking. This metric is so good. Providence, they're a joke, guys. They're 21-3. They win a bunch of close games. It's not impressive. New Mexico State, yep. You're looking at some teams. Colorado State, yes. Miami, Florida, Wyoming. Let's see if we can find another team that's ranked high that's gotten lucky. Wow, surprised with North Carolina. Let's see teams with some rotten luck. So the team that's gotten the most unlucky, Utah, UC Santa Barbara, Washington State. It's unfortunate. Clemson. You hate seeing it. The teams that have gotten unlucky. Oregon State, they are 3-20. Oregon State's record is 3-20. It's crazy. But I still think the worst team in college basketball is IUPUI. Which is a team Ohio State, it's just, they're horrific. They're horrific this year. It's unfortunate. I do want to look at bracketology really quickly, and Joe Lunardi does have Gonzaga as his number one team. Memphis, first team out. Oh, I want to see Memphis in the tournament. I want to see him in. Oregon's a solid team. I like that. Oregon is a solid team. Michigan, first four out. San Diego State, they're great on defense, terrible on offense. Florida, all right. Rutgers, I think Rutgers should be in. Kansas State, Virginia Tech, and Belmont. Last four. Oh, San Francisco. That's disrespectful. All right, guys, let's take a look at these regions. We've got the West region. Oh, wow. That's a heavyweight matchup in round one. Colgate is the best 16 seed I've ever seen in my life. I could see this, Colgate upsetting Gonzaga in that scenario. Alabama versus Chattanooga. Oh, this is a great region for Alabama. Wisconsin is a fraud. They would easily make the Sweet 16. San Francisco would destroy LSU. Oh, my goodness. Duke and Yale. This is a good region for Duke. Marquette's overrated. Murray State could be tough. I would pick Murray State over Marquette. East region, you've got Kentucky taking on Longwood. Longwood would annihilate Norfolk State in the first four. Indiana is a good 9 seed. Indiana really should be like a 7 or an 8 seed. Seton Hall, this would be a really good first round matchup. And honestly, it would be, Kentucky, they would probably get past either of those teams. Texas versus North Texas, the Civil War. I would love to see Texas versus North Texas. Houston, Vermont, whatever. Providence, Liberty, that's actually a good matchup for Providence. I would love Arkansas's Sweet 16 chances if they got Providence as the 3 seed. Wyoming versus Miami, that's a heavyweight battle. Cleveland State and Purdue, that's a really good region for Purdue. I think Purdue would make the Final Four in that region. Yeah, they would. Purdue's so good offensively. You've got Auburn taking on New Orleans or Southern. St. Mary's, good God, I hope Loyola Chicago loses. Michigan State and Davidson, those teams, the battle of the overrateds there. The battle of the overrateds. Villanova, Toledo, Villanova. Yeah, Villanova would make the Sweet 16 out of that. Let's take a look. Seattle University, that's a tough matchup for them. That is. And then you've got Iowa, Wake Forest. Love me some Iowa. They score a bunch. And then Kansas and Long Beach State. But yeah, Wake Forest is Wake Forest is a 10 seed. Wake Forest is 21-5, I think, in the ACC, and they're a 10 seed. That goes to show you how bad the ACC is. Arizona is the last 1 seed. Ohio State versus Creighton or Oregon. I would not want to face Oregon personally, so if you can face Creighton, that's not what you want. You do not want Tennessee as your 4 seed. Although Houston's another good 4 seed. I don't know. Tennessee's good. Tennessee is really talented. Iona, that'd be a really good matchup there. Illinois taking on Wagner. I love Wagner, but Illinois is a beast. And then Baylor's the 2 seed. So Baylor's the 2, Arizona's the 1. I don't know who would come out of this region. Maybe Tennessee. I like Tennessee a lot. Baylor, to me, it just doesn't feel like it's this year is their year. And Arizona seems like a fraud. The thing with Arizona is they keep winning, but I keep thinking they're a fraud. So it's like I should probably stop thinking that, but I can't get it out of my head. What can we also look at on here? Oh, the other thing that you can look at is Tournamentcast. Tournamentcast is great. It has all the seeds. It has their chances. You can see Gonzaga, Arizona, Kentucky, Auburn, Baylor, things like that. And then the other thing, what was the other thing that, the team sheet. This is the best one. You can see their overall net rankings. Like, look at Houston. You can see Houston's kind of a little bit of a fraud. That's due to their schedule. You can see a team like Iowa, lower on the metric rankings. So some of these teams like Wyoming is lower, Virginia Tech is lower. These would teams I would probably advise you to not pick when it comes to the NCAA tournament. And then you've got teams like, Davidson has good metrics. Miami, Florida has really good metrics compared to their net. Iona, I can understand Iona. Let's take a look at the worst team. Yeah, it's going to be IUPUI, unfortunately. You hate seeing it with IUPUI overall there. Let's go back to this. Take a look at the teams with the best offense. So who has the best offense in college basketball? It is going to be Purdue, I'm sure. Yeah, Purdue. This is actually a really good matchup. Purdue going on the road to Northwestern. I could see Northwestern winning that. You guys can take a look. They do have the 101 and first best defense. So normally, when it comes to betting on teams to make the Final Four, you're going to want both of these metrics, the adjusted O and the adjusted D, whether it's in T-Rank or KenPom. They also have KenPom. You want both of these to be top 10 or at least top 15. Look at Gonzaga. They're 2-7. Arizona, 9-6. Kentucky, 6-13. Then you see a team like Purdue. Wow, they're 11th here. First and 113th. Normally, these teams tend to not do well. Like Ohio State, 8th and 78th. Normally, when they're not great or elite at both, they tend to struggle in the tournament. I'm just saying that. Personally, I love teams that are good offensively. It's just my bias, I guess. But I also love a team that's good on defense. Let's take a look at the best defensive teams. Is it going to be San Diego State? San Diego State, they've actually improved on offense. They're 222nd now. Texas Tech, second. You take a look at a team like LSU. LSU is a fraud. They're 149th on offense. VCU, I actually like VCU. They're funny. 252nd on offense. Gonzaga. Yeah, it's very tough with Gonzaga. I want to take a look at their team and maybe take a look at Chet Holmgren's PRPG. He's 4.2. Drew Timian's 4.3. Yeah, they have a really good team. It's just they don't face anyone. I will say their conference, San Francisco is a good team. St. Mary's is a good team. They face, so they face both of these teams away back-to-back. San Francisco and St. Mary's. Those are probably their two biggest games, and they happen right before, you've got these games like Pepperdine. That game's happening tonight. They're 28.5-point favorites on the road. I mean, what team in conference is 28.5-point favorites? Home, Santa Clara, 24-point favorites. 8-point favorites against San Francisco. So it's just they have an easy conference, so they're going to game grade out. I mean, look at this. 99, 98, 100, 97, 96, 97, 97, 99, 97, 95. They're just going to game grade out the second you go. Well, that was a good win they had against Texas Tech. That was a neutral site game. That's a good win. Texas Tech is a good team. It's just tough to gauge with Gonzaga. I think Gonzaga has gotten to the point where if you're not picking them at least, they just seem like a team that's locked into at least the Elite Eight every year. And maybe they'll get upset one of these years, but it's pretty crazy when you look at it overall. Any other things I wanted to talk about? Strength of schedule, maybe. Alabama's still number 1. Arizona State, number 2. They're 8-15. Kansas, number 3. That's impressive. Kansas is 24-1 with the number 3 strength of schedule. That's that Big 12 schedule. Big 12 is a really good conference. Oklahoma State from the Big 12. Villanova. They must have played some good non-conference games. This is the non-conference strength of schedule, by the way, guys, if you guys are wondering what this is. So, yeah, Prairie View A&M, they're going to be playing a bunch of teams that are better than them, like Gonzaga and stuff, because they get like $1 million out of it. Alcorn State, North Florida, things like that. So that's just non-conference strength of schedule, looking at that. But guys, I think that's it for this 4.0 update. I think I'm going to do one of these updates every Wednesday. The key things to note, it's really the same teams on the bubble. The thing that I'll note, Michigan's a really interesting team. They're a team with a lot of talent, a lot of potential, but they're just not playing up to it. That loss on Saturday against Ohio State, you take a look at Michigan, actually. They had a perfect game against Purdue, which I think was last Wednesday. They had a perfect game. If we would load this, Michigan is currently, they're 24th. They're in the top 25, and they had a score of 100. That's a perfect game against Purdue, and then they come back at home again to Ohio State, and the Buckeyes, that's E.J. Liddell. You take a look at this game, E.J. Liddell, 28 points, 7.7 plus net, BPI 17.6, E.J. Liddell, also Cedric Russell, Jamari Wheeler, Defensive Player of the Year. I think I'd give my vote to Jamari Wheeler, E.J. Liddell. He's coming back next year for his senior year. It's going to be crazy, guys. That is going to do it for this video, my Bracketology update. Make sure you're following me on Twitter. Link to that's always in the description. I'm, of course, the Depressed Ginger. Thank you for watching.